What is up YouTube, Nyks here, back with another video. And as you've probably already read from the title, this video is going to go over the reasons why I'm currently playing World of Warcraft. So as many of you guys are probably already aware, after Blizzard's poor launch, things weren't really going well in the game. They have made progress, but it's not to the level that I'd want it to be. So as of this moment, I'm kind of just playing WoW, and so I'm just going to go over the reasons behind that in this video. But before I get started, if you are new to the channel, be sure to give it a subscribe, because I do plan on doing weekly content covering MMOs, games, and just stuff that I like in general. So yeah, let's just get into it. So the last time I tested out WoW or played it was about 5 years ago, and it was with a couple of my friends. This was back when I was in the 9th grade, and yeah, we just had a lot of time on our hands, so we started playing WoW, at least the trial version anyway. We reached level 20 and realized we couldn't do anything, so that's kind of where the whole WoW shenanigans ended. Now back then, I think it was during Cataclysm, the game's graphics weren't really that nice. If you go back, you'll see that most of the textures were kind of weird looking. The game didn't really have a direction in terms of art style, but as it stands currently, the game's texture models have been updated. Well, quite a lot of them have been updated, and the game in general has very stylized graphics, which to me is a really big thing, because games which have these type of graphics, whether it be cel shaded or highly cartoony or stylized the way it is in WoW, it really helps with the longevity of the game. If you see games like Elder Scrolls Online, yes, they do have decent looking graphics, but the thing with graphic fidelity is the fact that it can always be upgraded. Over time, an MMO will start to look older and older. If you have a certain style that's cartoony or doesn't really focus on texture resolution or realism, you can get away with having a game that ages really, really well. And that is basically the case with WoW. It stood the test of time, and as it's progressed, they have actually ironed out their art style to the point where it's very, very likely that the game will actually be able to keep the majority of its player base, as it doesn't really ever age. And all they really have to do is upkeep the content. Now, along with the art style, when I played back then, the game's combat it didn't have any impact behind it. And I've stated this in many of my videos beforehand. I really like games that have momentum behind their combat, or just a sense of drive. Back in Cataclysm, all your animations kind of felt empty. It just felt like there were placeholders for just numbers to pop up, essentially. There wasn't really anything to them. But after Legion, there was a huge animation rework that happened. New skill effects were added. A lot of the melee combat was heavily improved. You can actually see the comparison videos. I think a lot of the big WoW YouTubers covered that, and for me that was a huge thing. I can't play a game whose combat looks hella dull. And in fact, it's going to continue to improve on itself in the next WoW expansion, BFA, where they're again redoing the majority of the classes, including their animations, and adding new skill effects and stuff, just to make the combat feel more impactful. Now, it's different from being actually impactful. The game obviously isn't like Terra, where you literally are stuck in an animation lock. Usually you can run around and strafe while you're casting abilities, but as it stands, the game's combat actually feels decent, considering the fact that it is a tab target MMO. So yeah, on the combat front, I think they sorted a lot of things out. Next, I want to talk about the big thing, PvP. In WoW, PvP has kind of been limited to instances for the most part. You don't really go out in the world and hunt for the people on the other factions. That's not to say it doesn't happen, but it happens very less. So with the next expansion, and this is probably the biggest reason why I'm going to WoW, is the fact that open world PvP is actually going to be a thing. For those people that have subscribed for a very long time, you guys know that I really like ArcheAge, and the only reason I like ArcheAge is because of the open world PvP. Just having that faction v faction feeling and, you know, actually belonging to a side really helps bring the community together and kind of participate, because a lot of the times MMOs are played as solo games. You really just click on the dungeon finder and go do a run, get your loot, and stand in the base. But now having this open world aspect with the war modes and BFA, you can actually go through and participate in possibly large scale PvP, you know, raid the enemy base, and you have a reason to as well. When you are in war mode, you get increased EXP rates, as well as you get access to your PvP talents, and that is a huge thing when it comes to DPS output. As well as the fact that you actually get rewarded for participating in world PvP by I think a PvP currency of some sort. So there's always incentive behind it, and there's going to be events in the war mode shards which are going to incentivize both the factions contesting a certain point. So I'm really excited about that. I think world PvP is something that all MMOs should have, and WoW is no exception. Apart from that, Demon Hunters, man, holy shit. The first time I saw Illidan, just the photo of Illidan, you guys know I have it on my wallpaper as well. I was like, damn dude, Warglaives, are you serious? Those things look OP. And the fact that you can play as a Demon Hunter in WoW is just like mind-blowing. I think the Blizzard team, if they had like an emergency button, like, oh shit, we fucked up, that would have been it, I think. Because after Draenor, apparently the game was really bad, though I wasn't playing it back then, but apparently it was really bad. People weren't really participating in it, and the garrisons were all fucked up and shit. But, you know, they hit the reset button, they added Demon Hunters in, and I think that brought back quite a lot of people. I'm definitely going to play a Demon Hunter as my main, because dual glaives are freaking OP. And the last thing I wanted to mention is incentive. A lot of people don't talk about this, but I think having a purpose in a game is very important, especially in games like MMOs. It is very important to have some sort of thing to drive towards all the time. For me, and people are gonna be like probably really mad at this, it's not so much the gear. I don't really give two shits about you having, you know, 2 more AP than me, or in terms of gear or whatever. That really doesn't bother me. The thing that I strive for is to look a certain way. Cosmetics, essentially. I want to look like a person who's tearing shit up. And if I can't do that, then generally I don't play the game. So for me, majority of the time, whether it be ArcheAge, RuneScape, Bless, whatever MMO it may be, I strive to look a certain way. And that's really the end game for me. I don't care about pets, I don't care about pet battles or gear score or being the highest ranking in PvP. Yes, I do like to participate in PvP and have viable gear. Looking like a badass just takes top priority in terms of things that I want to achieve. So, and to be fair, that's pretty easy to attain in most MMOs. You look at all the sets and you're like, okay, I want this set, that one, and something else, and boom, you're good to go. And with WoW's transmog system, it's made even easier. So the thing is, after I'm done with all that, there isn't really an incentive to play, unless I want to get better gear or something like that, right? But as I said, I don't really care about gear score and all that jazz. So for me, the incentive would just be to sustain the membership. And as it stands currently, WoW has this currency called WoW tokens. Now, what you can do with WoW tokens is buy game time with in-game gold. So after I'm done with all that, I can just log in every single day, get a bit of gold, and save up for the month, and that's it. I mean, it doesn't sound exciting, but just the fact that the game doesn't really require you to buy a membership and you can just earn it in game is a pretty big thing. And I didn't really know about this till a couple of weeks ago. One of my friends, he brought it up. He goes, hey, you don't really have to pay for membership. You can just get a WoW token and you're set. So that's a very big thing. Plus, being a student, I don't really like to pay like a monthly fee on anything else. And on top of that, in New Zealand, the way that the currency conversion works, it's like about 25 bucks for a WoW subscription. So it's pretty dear. So I'll be glad to jump in game and hopefully get me some WoW tokens and pay for my game time that way. That is basically everything that I wanted to cover. Those are the main reasons why I'm playing WoW right now. I'm playing on a private server. I'll make a video on how to get onto that private server. I do it a really different way, so I think some of you guys will appreciate just the security aspect of it. Yeah, I'll plan on putting a video out on that. So stay tuned if you want to know how to get onto a private server. I'm kind of sick of like hopping MMOs. I think it's really just annoying. You know, I've been hopping MMOs ever since like the 10th grade, you know, jumping on Terra and then jumping off that, going on to RuneScape, getting off that, getting onto Arcade. So it's about time that I just get down and just start playing one MMO. And hey, if I get burnt out, so be it. I'll just play another one. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to cover. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully I convinced some of you guys to at least try out WoW. Again, I'll put out a guide on how to get onto that private server so you guys can test it out for free. And yeah, like if you liked the video, dislike if you didn't like it. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon. Peace.